Yes, thank you everyone. We are very glad to present to you this new research project that we conduct at Genève called Play to Learn, who wants to gather the cultures of social sciences and video games. A few words about the funding context, because like all research projects, we need money to do this. It's a project running since 1 month. It will bring us to April 25 for the end. It's funded by the Gebertruff Foundation, and we have a lot of partners such as GIF Festival, iFlow, ICANN in Paris, Fondation Plaza, or Perfect Memory in France. And the first ID was made with the former journalist Lynn Levy, who is now running the Fondation Convergence in Geneva. But as she gets this new job, she will not part of the team anymore. About the team, myself, Alexia just present me so I can go on. The same for you. And the third guy on the team is Thibéry Maillard. He's based in Paris, and he's a teacher and web designer, and he mostly helps us about the social media and communication strategy of the project. First, the broader context is the one of video games, obviously. It's the topic, the today topic. Video game, if you don't know very well the weight of the economic of this sector, it's very huge, actually. It's twice the cinema and the music gathered. And in France, it's around 90% of the young people who play video games in their life. And video game can approach a large kind of topics such as ecology, death, love, as we just saw with Fane, that overlap with the same thematics of human and social sciences. That's why we want to establish a dialogue between these two cultures. Here, another examples of games such as history for Assassin's Creed Discovery Tour, politics with Adventure Communist, love with Florence, geopolitical conflicts with Sigma Theory, or loneliness with Blanc, or suicide, Lie in My Earth. So a lot of thematics can be played on games.
So most important is to keep in mind that now kind of new generation is going to interact with video game. Basically, it was previously entertainment support. So basically, we play and we are proactive on video game. But now we have like a Twitch appearing, and now people are viewing. Video game are just they are watching TV. So it's kind of new layer. Before it was always something like kind of close, always social, but still people was active on the game, and now we see these people just watching as entertainment. So what is very important about on this kind of social media, it's open a new way of interaction with the youngers, and it can broad like a very wide audience. One of the limitations that we see, it's the ability to think that we can see on social media. Of course, they speak about very lot of subject, as Anthony brought previously. But we can still, sometimes we have this kind of commercial purpose or try to sell something, and some subject, for example, we have like a law in France that have forbidden some of crypto speaking, as you can see here, top right. So we have like new generation that now are going to read social media not on the press or traditional press anymore, but they are going to check it like online through TikTok, YouTube, or all these wide resources. And for us, it was like a huge opportunity to go into this new field and to try to give or to apport a new subject or new material. One of the second issue that we tried to face, it was this kind of mistrust of the media, of the traditional media. This kind of representation, it's a well-known issue that we see mainly in France. This média en France, qui possède quoi? So this idea that there are very few people that own the media, and because of this, there's a huge mistrust of the media now, and people are going to redirect themselves on a new form of media that we can see online. We can say like Twitter, now named X, or TikTok, Twitch, etc. So there is a loss of confidence in the freedom of speech, and that's why it's important to say we can, of course, rethink about the traditional media, but it's also important to think about this new form of media and say how we can bring like a new kind of knowledge inside it.
Yes, if we think of academics, we have a problem of mediation. The social sciences, compared to usual social media, of course it depends, have the ability to address the complexity of the world, but the problem if it's on the very long term. It takes a lot of time to read a book, to see a kind of academic lecture, and it's very different and more different from time to time from the time of mass media, which is more a time of flux. The formats are becoming quite anachronic for the young generation, such as academic papers, long lectures, symposiums, academic journals, and so on. So how can we bring this knowledge to the young generation? One clue is to use video as scientific mediation. There are a lot of examples on YouTube where some YouTubers, men or women, obviously, are desacralizing academic knowledge. Here you can see a few examples, such as Manon Bril in France for the art history, Sciences de comptoir from experimental sciences, law, the angle droit, Haute Favre, Julia Baumann on TikTok. There are very few examples on TikTok, but still we managed to find some. And we have a longer list made by Lison Grézeau in France, who helped us to list all of these examples. Yes, but we can wonder if it's a good idea to imitate or if it's better to go beyond the codes of the TV, because most of the time YouTube and Twitch don't fully exploit the interactive potential of video games. Of course, you can interact with the chat, but it's very limited compared to the interaction on video games. So our problem, our main topic, is to know how we can create a real dialogue between video game audiences and social sciences. On Twitch, which is the main medium for video games online, we can see a few channels who wants to bring a new way of talking about video games. Here, so some people, but most of the time it's only a way of streaming games and make some jokes, and there is still a loss of channels who talk differently about games. Also, Twitch can be used to speak of other topics than games, such as politics. Usul is very famous, or backseat, or role play for Fibrotig. He did some role play for the French presidential election, or Samuel Etienne, a former journalist of France TV. But there is still a few examples, and these examples are really interesting, but that they don't talk about video games.
In terms of form, also we have the chance to have like kind of very specific environment, which is a HEAD campus, and also like a lot of resource from Gruber Foundation. And we wanted to spend also time to rethink about the space that this kind of new media will bring as an idea. Most of the space that we can see online, this is a study aimed by Javier in the architecture department. And we see that there is also like kind of pattern in terms of color, pattern in terms of space. It's also like closing element. And we want to interrogate this element to say, okay, but as we are going to produce like a new form of media, new form of interaction, what kind of space can suit this idea? That's why we are going to do like kind of a research about the stage design of this emission. So we did a study with Lison Grézeau about how work like a traditional Twitch channel online. So as you can see, it's very classic. You have like basically like a table, a backstage, and this is what we want also to redefine, and we want to redefine. That's going to merge with the concept of the emission. That's going to merge like this social science and video game. So this idea of duality, we want to express it in terms of space design for the emission.
Of course, we can't compete with big Twitchers and YouTubers because we start from zero, and we want to avoid the teen room or teen bedroom effect. We want to propose something very new, where we cannot compare with big channels. So what are our goals and milestones? We are still at the very beginning of the project. Our main goals is to first use video games, codes and media to enlarge, to broaden the social science audience, because as maybe you already know, in some countries like in Brazil or Japan, social sciences in university are quite disappearing or close from zero, which is very sad. But in France, we see the same processes at work. And our second goal is to get researchers interested in game design through the practice of video games, because in university there are a lot of cinema chairs or positions, but very few related to video games. At Lausanne, we have an exception with the game lab, but still we lack some research on that field. We are still digging into our concept, but we have very few ideas how we can start to build this new media. First, we definitely want to have researchers playing, or at least watch people playing. So it will be a kind of filmed or interactive interview, such as Thierry Ardisson in his own house, where people are filmed when eating. Secondly, we want to have two specialists, one from games and one from social sciences, on the same level, no hierarchy between them. As Guillaume already said, we want to have a deep focus on scenography with several screens and game accepts, maybe, such as Dogville, if you know that film made from the top, yes, with a kind of timeline made by the scenography. To address two different audiences, maybe we will need two parallel streams, one on Zoom for the academics and one for Twitch, but these two streams will be hybridized or mixed to make it possible the gathering of these two audiences.
So one of the first ideas was, of course, to focus on Twitch, but we said that if we are focusing on Twitch, we are focusing on one kind of audiences, which was like the gamer audiences. And that's why now we are still going to this direction, said that we do not want to choose one to the other. And we are still thinking about these two parallel streams. So basically we are going to have two live at the same time that's going to merge together in the new kind of hybrid element. We don't know how to define it really. But this is like kind of the aim and the goal. We're still in a long process to achieve.
We are facing several issues, so that's why we need your feedback. We are still at the very beginning. It started from 1 month, this project. One question, for example, is to know how we can achieve to have researchers playing, because it requires a lot of skills depending on the games. So maybe we will have some kind of party games or not real-time games to be able to have that kind of public playing and not too ridiculous. Another issue is the audience, because we are starting from zero, so maybe we will need some existing Twitch channels with kind of reads. Reads, it's when a channel bring you its audience on real time. And a lot of partners. Also, we don't know yet if we will need a kind of fixed studio at Ed, or if we will move from the cube to the library and so on, to have a lot of spaces and to escape the bedroom effect. Yep. And we also have a lot of resources to dig that kind of questions. But that's it for now. Thank you, and thank you for your feedback.
Thank you to you both. Any question for Guillaume and Anthony? Okay, well, people. Oh, okay. Ellie.
Bonjour. Maybe I have to do this in English. So français. Ben ayant étudié les sciences sociales en bachelor, je suis un peu confus, je vous avoue, par rapport à la manière dont vous allez amener une plus-value, je dis en guillemets, mais une plus-value à votre audience, et en fait le goal final derrière le fait que des chercheurs jouent à certains jeux. Je crois que je suis pas sûr d'avoir compris qu'est-ce qui est recherché derrière cette initiative.
Alors, je vais laisser peut-être Anthony compléter, mais l'objectif c'est pas tant de faire jouer des chercheurs que de faire plutôt confluer des audiences qui sont aujourd'hui un peu dos à dos entre des chercheurs de sciences sociales et des joueurs sur Twitch. C'est des milieux qui ne se côtoient pas. Et aujourd'hui, c'est d'inviter justement de se dire mais vous êtes chercheur, vous lisez la presse traditionnelle, il y a aussi des nouveaux environnements qui sont pour vous, et vous pouvez aussi aller sur TikTok pour découvrir des canaux qui vous sont traditionnels dans le fond, mais avec une nouvelle forme. Donc en fait, d'un côté, on prend le fond, la forme, et on inverse ces ensembles-là.
C'est un projet de médiation, donc on cherche encore la meilleure forme. Peut-être qu'à la fin, les chercheurs ne vont pas jouer, mais regarder des extraits, ça on ne sait pas encore. L'idée, c'est vraiment de faire se rencontrer des audiences qui s'ignorent. De toute façon, on a un problème très concret d'audience dans les sciences sociales. Si vous prenez un article académique, aujourd'hui, il est lu en moyenne par 3 personnes en moyenne. C'est des articles, ça prend des semaines à écrire. Donc on voit que c'est à peu près vain de continuer comme ça. On ne peut pas produire de la connaissance aussi pointue qui est lue par aussi peu de personnes. Il faut qu'on trouve des nouveaux dispositifs pour que cette connaissance très précieuse puisse aller dans la société civile, tout simplement. Et donc on veut utiliser les codes du jeu vidéo comme mass média énorme qui touche presque 100% de la population jeune pour les intéresser à cette connaissance.
Yes, Léa.
Yes, thank you very much. That was very interesting, and you got me with the intro, basically about people not wanting to pay attention, but actually in video games people do still pay attention. So my question is about the positioning on all of this. As you mentioned, Twitch streamers, which obviously they're huge audiences, but the appeal, do you imagine it to be a real mass appeal, or are people actually choosing to play scientific games, in which case I think that the audience might be smaller, which is still okay, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
It's a kind of pilot, this project, so we don't have any audience objective to start, but one of our wish with Guillaume and Tiberi is to produce a different kind of Twitch channel, not only a kind of sofa with a joystick or paddles, but to invent a new kind of scenography, even if it's only for 20 or 30 people at the beginning. We will be happy if on these 20 people we succeed to bring different kind of people on this channel.
And even if like the point of the project is to merge this kind of antagonist user or streamer, we know that we cannot like merge something that will be completely different. So already like gaming and social science is already very separated. But in terms of age, I think for now we are still focusing about 30, 40 years old. So when we speak about gamer, we are not going to, we don't want to bring like 12 years old, 15 years old like gamer with a 50, 60 years old like such. We know that this never work. So we know that we still need to come down in terms of separation. So in terms of age gap, I think this will be like the link between already the two. And we have a lot of like adult people that work in social science that's also playing game. And so the audience won't be that diverse.
And there will be a relationship, obviously, between the game and the researchers, but we are still wondering if we want to have kind of AAA or games who are mainly streamed on Twitch, such as Smash Bros or FIFA in France, or if it's better to focus or to highlight kind of indie games, which can be more interesting in terms of topics or game design.
We have one more question over here.
Or maybe student games. Not compete with mainstreams.
Hello. Français. Du coup, il y a un genre sur YouTube ou Twitch ou TikTok de toute une partie de personnes qui essayent d'éduquer les autres avec des sujets compliqués, mais qui du coup utilisent ces plateformes pour traduire d'une manière plus digestible, justement plus simple. Donc ça, c'est une manière de faire, mais aussi au niveau des streamers sur Twitch, j'ai l'impression que ça devient intéressant dès que quelqu'un offre quelque chose d'un peu de différent que ce qu'il y a d'habitude. Et j'ai l'impression que l'idée d'un researcher qui se connaît particulièrement dans un sujet, s'il joue un jeu, je ne pense pas qu'il ait besoin d'être fort à ce jeu, mais je pense que justement le commentary, le commentaire, ce qu'il va dire pendant qu'il joue peut être très intéressant parce que c'est un peu différent que ce qu'on voit d'habitude.
Oui, c'est exactement ça en fait. D'ailleurs, c'était une des origines du projet. On s'est dit, nous, on voulait même rentrer à côté le côté un peu ridicule. On s'est dit, voilà, si vraiment on a un grand écrivain, alors on prend une caricature, on pourrait prendre Welbeck ou ce qu'il voulait, vraiment quelqu'un qui est complètement antinomique et qui déteste ce genre de choses. On dit, voilà, on va le faire jouer à GTA. On trouvait l'idée un peu drôle et on s'est dit, voilà, là, il y a peut-être quelque chose de se dire, voilà, faut pas que la personne sache jouer, il n'y a pas besoin qu'elle maîtrise le jeu vidéo, parce qu'en fait, c'est pas le propos, en fait. Le propos, c'est plutôt de le confronter à ce média-là et de l'interroger par rapport à ce que lui il voit, il en comprend, avec ce dialogue-là. Bon, on pourrait prendre des jeux comme Red Dead, parler de faire naviguer dans les vallées et de se demander, mais quel rapport à la nature qu'on a dans ces jeux vidéo-là, par pire ces horizons-là. Donc, c'est vraiment plutôt un prétexte ou un support plutôt qu'une réelle finalité. On ne va pas leur apprendre à jouer aux jeux vidéo, bien évidemment.
Mais du coup, je pense que c'est important de marketer dans ce sens-là, dans ce sens être très clair dans le titre, que c'est telle et telle personne qui a ses opinions intéressantes qui joue à ce jeu. Et ouais, il faut vraiment qu'il y ait le titre qui apporte le monde, qui montre pourquoi c'est différent ce stream-là.
Tout à fait. Aussi, on veut essayer de se demander qu'est-ce que c'est que d'emmener une école sur Twitch. À ma connaissance, il n'y a pas de cours ou de colloque à la aide qui a déjà été en ligne. Donc, ça va aussi être intéressant de tester ce média-là comme support pédagogique.
We have a last question online from Christian Billy. Hi, Christian. Who said, have you tested a prototype of your show before building the studio? Comment est-ce que vous avez testé déjà des prototypes de studio pour
Non.
Pas encore.
We didn't try anything yet for the studio. We still it's very early stage. So this is like the second time that we present the project, and basically this is the stage of the of the project. So yes, too early for now.
But that might come. Are you going to collaborate maybe with interior designer?
Yeah, definitely, and we hope to show some kind of rough or prototypes in the GIF festival in early November. That's our goal.
One of the elements that we think we know that we cannot compete with a top Twitch streamer. We cannot compete in terms of pro video gamer. We cannot compete with these people. So of course we need to bring like kind of new element and to say, okay, what are our expertise? Our expertise is just our relationship and context and the fact that we are here at the HAD. So of course, collaboration with interior design, collaboration with anything to bring this kind of amazing space into this kind of stream. This will be like the opportunity that we got, and this is what we can capitalize on this more to try to compete with kind of classic element. So it's quite challenging for us because every consulting that we got from Twitch streamer, they give us their kind of trick and cheat, but trick and cheat based on capacity that they do not have, that we have. So it's kind of problematic on this element.
Okay, great. We have 2 more minutes. There's like another question before. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Who was first? I didn't see.
You mentioned like online classes when you said that there wasn't courses online, for example, on Twitch. And do you think maybe a form of Twitch channel or web TV, like there are for esport, for example, can exist to create real online classes with a program of recurrent courses and with the open source on participative aspect of Twitch when it's free, and if people want to get more engaged with the programs, they can financially participate. It can create a new way of open source teaching online.
Yes, of course. This is a question that we had like yesterday, exactly about it. They said, "Oh, why like classes and courses is not like on Twitch and public? It will be much more easier to manage than Zoom, for example, which is kind of hiding element." And one of the elements that you highlight, and this is most important, is the interaction. The interaction with like the community, the fact that we can have like feedback in live stream, which is much more like manageable on Twitch, and of course to bring like knowledge like more in the open source way. This is very important for us personally, and maybe like also like for HAD. So switching some of the classes, switching some element or knowledge through this kind of new challenge is also like kind of a huge opportunity.
Compared to Zoom or YouTube, Twitch is very open to host API or interactive modules, and maybe at the end we will code or invent module where the public online can interact with the game. There are a few examples, such as the game Wargroove 2, where you can map all the pseudonym of people online into the games in real time. So we are still investigating that kind of idea, and at the end we want that our channel will be managed or reinvented by the community, a media by the community for the community, and maybe at the end we will dig or investigate kind of Web3 technology to make it independent and autonomous.
Hello. Considering how you guys said already that it's gonna be difficult to compete against larger, say, already established YouTubers or streamers who are already focusing on AAA titles, video games that are already set in the background. So maybe, like, it's my question that have you considered delving into board games or card games to start off a bit more slowly, like the essence of interactivity with the space that you will be, say, broadcasting from? How about, like, you know, just starting off slower? Like, for example, board games are a much more softer approach to, like, you know, researching with game design, I would say.
Yeah, thank you. It's the same advice was given to us 2 days ago by the people at University of Lorraine, where there is a game design courses or master, and they have a Twitch channel for the whole university. And the first advice for us is to not stream big games or too complicated games, but mostly like Wordle, as you said. But we wonder if that kind of game can make audience, so we don't know yet if go there.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're gonna go to the second to the follow-up. But thank you so much, Guillaume and Anthony, for your presentation and all the questions from the audience. Thank you.